Welcome to the Game Cave, where the adventure starts right here at the table. And in today's episode of Kicking It with Kickstarter, we're looking at Legends of Novus. We have Wes with us today, the creator of the game. And we are on Tabletop Simulator, where the game is right now. You can go play it right now. Check it out yourself. Don't forget to go to the Kickstarter page and back this project. And like always, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go over and follow us on Twitch. And I think we might as well just go ahead and jump right into it. Let's go over and meet Wes and see how the game is played.
Alright, so Legends of Novus, it's a tabletop fantasy adventure game, and the whole purpose behind it was to find a way for me to capture the essence of Dungeons and Dragons and Final Fantasy and Diablo in a tabletop board game that you can actually play in a reasonable amount of time. Because anytime I've come across these in board game stores or online, I see these epic tales that are 40 to 60 hours plus that have 2,700 miniatures in the box, and just totally puts me off from wanting to play it, because as a family guy, I don't have a whole lot of time to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'd look around for these type of games, and I didn't find them, but I did find a little game called Munchkin and tested that out, because that's the only game I could find in the game store one night with my son to try out that was less than an hour to play. And we tested that out and had some fun with it, but it's really not my type of game with that take that and that comical look. But it really inspired me to come up with a game idea that you could play in that amount of time. And that card interaction really led to the beginnings of the mechanics of this game, and it kind of evolved from there into having a game board map and having location cards. So, but you know, it all started with my love of D&D and fantasy, and just wanting to get a game that could give you that whole experience in one sitting.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest complaints I have with, especially D&D. It's like a lifetime commitment of a game.
Yeah,
literally. And I like to. Don't get me wrong. I love some D&D. But I'd also like to, like yourself, have a family. Matter of fact, I hear the little one upstairs running around right now, probably wondering where I'm at.
yeah.
So we, as adults and parents, we have to make things quick. So this would be ideal for that, really, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can play this between 1 to 5 players. I have a solo mode designed. You can play with 2 players, have some fun, or you can get 5 people to the table and just have a chance to play at it together. And it's not co-op, so to say. Cooperatively, you're trying to defeat these massive creatures that you see around the board here. But independently, you're trying to become the first one to gain that fame and that experience to become a Legend of Novus. So there's the racing to be the best first mentality, tethered in with the fact that you're cooperatively trying to save the world from the craziness that's happened to it since what's called the Maelstrom struck it.
Ah, okay. So give me some backstory on Novus.
For sure, yeah. I mean, the idea behind Novus is that you see that this map is just what looks like a single continent, but it's actually a combination of pieces of continents that used to be spread across the world that was Novus, and then something called the Maelstrom. It was a magical storm of immeasurable proportion that really devastated the world, and it's what brought magic to this fantasy world that I created. It also gated in things from other worlds that they never would have seen before, like Asmakai, the mind-crushing demon, or Monsignius, the volcanic dragon. These didn't actually arise in Novus. They were kind of transported through this magical time / vortex that happened in the world. And so the people of Novus were never heroes or adventurers before, and that's why they were ill prepared to battle back. And so what's happened is over the past 100 years, they've been canvassing and trying to train people, and these 5 heroes that you see on the bottom of the table are the ones that have risen the highest to that occasion and are trying to save the world. From at least some of these creatures anyway. And the idea behind the game is you have to get 25 experience and defeat one of these quest creatures to become that first legend of Novus. And that's what you're in for.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and each of the characters and if you flip over one of these quest creatures, you'll see that there's a little story on the back of each of those. And then the character cards, I don't have it on the backs yet, but when we do the final print, they'll have their character story on the back of those visual character cards there.
Okay.
So you'll have a little bit of lore within it, but none of that lore is required to play the game. So in D&D, you have to have the lore. In Gloomhaven, you have to go through the campaign story. In this game, the story is there for the theme and the fun, but it's not part of the actual gameplay. The gameplay is all about the battles and the mechanics and traveling across the world.
Okay. Excellent. All right, so let's pretend like we just unboxed this game. I read the setup. I read the setup on the rule book, and the setup is pretty daggone straight to the point and super simple. You're looking at the setup right now.
Yeah, and I did a setup video a couple months back, but to open the box and to set up the game, let's say it's your 3rd or 4th time playing, it only takes about 5 minutes to get from opening the box to getting it all ready to play on the table. So like I mentioned, compared to some of those other games where you can spend an hour just trying to find the pieces you need to play a particular campaign, in this game every campaign is the same, but the result of every game will be different.
Right.
So in 5 minutes you're going to look like this on your table depending on how many players you have.
Nice.
Except for the location guide on the right, that's in the form of a booklet. It wouldn't be spread out on the table like that.
Okay, so this was an actual booklet instead of cards.
Yeah, just for ease of Tabletop Simulator, it was easier just to show it on the table.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, so we just unboxed the game, and we are ready to play. So what's the very first thing we should do here?
So the first thing each player does is, you can see in front of our characters, we have 10 gold pieces. In the real game, you would have gold or silver or bronze tokens that are worth 5, 10, and 25 gold. So in this case, we're just using these little trackers.
Okay.
And again, Tabletop Simulator lets you play around with stuff like that. So first thing you do is get 10 gold. Second thing you would do is each player would get 1 adventure card, which is a blue back, and 1 reward card, which is a gold back. So if you throw one of those in front of each of our sheets, that would be your starting or opening hand.
Okay. So we need a gold? Or we already
reward
got
card.
that, don't we?
What's that?
Or a reward card?
Yeah, so you get 1 of those each.
Okay.
And you would get
here.
one adventure card each.
And 1 adventure card, okay. And we are good to go.
And that is the only cards you need for setup. You set your experience points, which is the book icon. And you'll see in this version, you have to press the little red button on the booklet, whereas in the real game, you would move your cube tracker on a dual layer board. So you're going to set that to 3 by hovering over the book until you see that red button. Yep. And depending on how long you want to play the game, you could have that set to 5 or 7. So it's kind of like a game handicap or a timer increaser, because the more experience you have when you start the game, the easier the game will be for you.
Okay.
But I found 3 is just a decent number, and having a card each just kind of gives you, it takes away from that, I'm going to spend my first 3 turns trying to build myself up.
Right.
Because that's never fun to do that.
Just to battle a rat.
Yeah. And then the next thing you'd want to do is establish what your character combat is. So you can see the shield icon, which will be the first set on the tracker board. That will be representative of your current combat value, and that'll go up and down throughout the game. And your combat value will equal the number on your character card, your class card, underneath your thief picture. You can see that little shield there.
Okay.
And that shield you're going to see throughout the entire game. So first of all, you could change your combat to 2 for that.
Okay.
And if you look at, let's say I'm going to be Kane, the guy next to you, then mine would be a 3.
3. Okay.
And then throughout the game, including right now, you're going to be gaining experience. And the more experience you have, the more capable you are of defeating creatures in the world. So you can see underneath the chart, there's a tracker, and that's kind of your combat bonus based on experience. So to start the game off, we each have that extra combat because we have a little bit of experience there. Except you can't move the cube.
Oh, okay. but in the normal board, on the physical copy, you'd move that around, correct?
Absolutely, okay. Yeah. It'd be a dual layer tracker board with a cube. Okay. But you could move if you want to add one to your shield up above your board there.
Okay.
That kind of represents that. And then for myself, same, I'm at 3 experience, so I'll get that extra.
4.
And so that is it. Now we're ready to start turns. Okay. So you can flip over the cards in our hand.
All right.
And let's say you go first. I mean, you might roll a die to go first or do an arm wrestle, whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Digital arm wrestle right now.
Oh, here we go.
You win.
Oh,
you won.
Woo.
I can't beat the game caver. All right. So there's 2 types of cards that are going to be in your hand, and that's adventure and reward cards. Reward cards are basically equipment and money, and they're coming in 2 different colors, blue and red. Blue is magical items and red is non-magical items. And then on each equipment, you'll see on the right-hand side in that banner, there's a little location icon in the center. It looks like a scroll on the one you have now.
Okay,
see that?
Yeah.
And then you compare that to your character board, which is a visual representation. If you think back to Final Fantasy or Diablo video games, those are some of my favorite games from my youth. You always had a pop-up window and you could see your inventory at any time.
Yeah.
And this is to kind of conceptualize that.
Okay.
So you can see on your board you've got a scroll icon, so you can have 4 items at any time. And then you can have 1 or 2 hand items, a body item, a head item, and a foot item. And so that just represents what are you wearing at the time.
Okay.
If you have more than one of those items, you can keep some in your hand, but you can only wear as much as you can fit on your sheet.
Okay.
And so that's what the reward cards will do. They'll be filling up that sheet over time. And then adventure cards are going to give you different one-time abilities or quests like you just drew here. Quest will tell you exactly what you need to do to get some extra experience. Or you may get a skill that goes on the bottom left of your character board. You might become a master of monsters or a master of coin, and that'll give you a perk in the game.
Okay.
So you'll see the game will include these quick reference cards. It's going to be a double-sided card, but for ease, we just put it face up both sides on the table to the left of your sheet. So that'll just be a tarot-sized card, and that describes your entire turn summary on one side and your experience and gold exchange rate on the other. So if it were your first turn right now, you would start with a preparation phase, go through an adventure phase, and then have a recovery phase. And so each turn, each player gets 3 phases to go through, and they're very straightforward. You don't have to have any understanding of Dungeons and Dragons or role-playing games or anything like that to play this game. Okay. You just step in and play, follow the directions on your card, and like you said, it'll be pretty self-explanatory once you've gotten a few turns in. So, for example, on your turn, your preparation phase, you could play any number of reward cards that are in your hand.
Okay.
So you happen to have a Potion of Invisibility, which is a reward card, and you could place that on your item slot.
All right.
So it's now equipped. It stays there until something happens. You can see on this one, in the text box, it says destroy after 1 use, because when you drink a potion, it's gone. Okay. You can't just keep drinking it. But it has a one-time benefit for you. Nice. Whereas other items like a sword or a helmet, that'll stay on unless something destroys it. So then the second thing you could do is you could play an adventure event card, which you don't have, but if you had one, that would be in your hand. And then the third thing you could do is if you had 25 gold, you could purchase a new reward or a new event card. So you get to make that choice if you want to spend your money on that or not.
Okay.
And that's everything that you can do before you go on an adventure in your turn. The second thing you do is you go to your adventure phase. You can see there on the card, you get to choose each turn whether you want to travel on the map or if you want to explore the location that you're in. And so when you pan over to that location guide that's full of this alphabetized list of locations, every location has some kind of effect if it's written on the board. And then there's some dots on the map that don't have any words or location. That's kind of like a waypoint. And so when you travel on the map, you're allowed to travel 2 locations. Speaking of which, I guess we should put our standees on the board.
Okay.
Each player starts in the city of Vase City. This is kind of where the world collected when it all went to crap, and it re-expanded after that to repopulate across Novus. So this is kind of a giant sprawling city, and if you look at the size of that city compared to the continent, that kind of represents that. It's absolutely massive compared to any other city in the world.
Aha, okay.
But anyway, that's just going into the history a bit. So on your turn, you could either tip over your standee or just say, I'm exploring this turn, because you can only explore a location once before you have to leave that location. You can't just stay in the same place, just keep camping out and trying to benefit from that location. Or you could travel, which lets you move up to 2 dots in any direction you want. So you have complete freedom. It's a free roam map. Nobody's going to tell you what to do or where to go. It's completely up to you. And that can take a little getting used to when you're first playing the game, but it also gives you that growth factor of, okay, I've played the game 5 times now. I have a good sense of what these locations do and where I want to go. And I want to try this method this time, or I want to try this strategy this time. So that's where the replayability will come in, is all these cool and different locations will impact you in different ways on different games.
Okay.
Now, to keep things simple, I'll be putting in the rule book a first game suggested travel route, for example. So for your character, you're the thief, you're Vin the thief. Every character has an icon on the map. So on the bottom where it shows Donetsk in that little ice peninsula, you can see the cross dagger symbol. That's the thief's home city. You see that?
I'm trying to find it.
So it's way down on the bottom in a white island there, or a peninsula. You can see it. There you go. Donetsk.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So those cross daggers are the thief symbol. If you look over on the top left, there's a city called Exire that has the fighter's axe symbol.
Uh-huh.
So those are our home cities, and if you pan over that location, you'll see that if you go to that location, you just get a little bonus of 2 experience and a reward card. So it kind of incentivizes you to go to your home city at some point in the game.
Ah, okay.
And so first-time play suggestion is just make your way there. So for, let's say you wanted your first turn to make your way there, you could pick up your standee and travel 2 map markers.
Okay, so let's travel here.
Yeah, so that's 1 map marker.
Here.
And so what happens when you travel in any role-playing game is there's a chance that something's going to happen to you. You could get waylaid by marauders. You could find something on the way. You could have an experience. So to represent that, there's a travel die. And there's only going to be 1 in the box, but you can see each of us have 1 in the tabletop because components are free in digital world.
That's true.
So you grab that 6-sided travel die,
okay.
and you give that a roll on the map just to see what happens.
Ooh. Swords. I'm assuming that's a counter.
So swords means that you tried to make your way through the world, but something happened along the way. So you're looking at the encounter deck, you flip over the top card of the encounter deck, and that is going to be your random encounter.
Okay.
So you've encountered a savage bear. Insert savage bear noise here. So savage bear, you can see on that encounter card, he's going to have a combat value, which is 4. The shield always represents combat. He's going to have an experience value. So if he's defeated, you get 2 experience, which is going to make you stronger in the game. And then he's going to have a victory and a defeat condition. So if you do beat him, you get a little bonus of 2. You can see that everything is represented by icons. That's the reward icon, so you'd get 2 reward cards. And if he defeats you, you would lose 2 experience instead of gaining 2 experience. Ooh. So there's going to be a pro and con to everything that you encounter. But the danger in fighting creatures is before you even get to attack, they may have an activated ability. So in this case, if you see that 10-sided die symbol, the action die I call it in this game, that means you have to roll an action die and follow the rules on the card before you proceed to combat. So he's going to try to take a swipe at you, and you have to see if you can dodge that swipe. Otherwise, you're going to be bleeding heavily and having a hard time fighting this bear.
So in combat, what is it that I'm looking for? How do I defeat this monster?
Yeah, so combat I've kept to a very linear and simple mechanism. I know in some games you have all kinds of different attributes and perks and downsides. In this game, basically anything you have that increases your shield or your combat power is called your modifier. And you're going to roll a d10 if you combat them, add your modifier, and roll a d10 for them and add their combat modifier, which is the one number they have on their card. And if you tie or beat that number that they roll, you'll be victorious, and if you get less than that number, you'll lose.
Okay.
But you're not able to fight him yet, because he has to do that savage swipe to you.
Swipe.
And once, yeah. So if you do the savage swipe first, and then I'll talk about how the combat works after that.
Okay, so I encounter the bear, and he decides to take a swipe. Oh.
So you've rolled a 10. Fantastic.
Ooh.
And it says you get to add your XP to the roll, and many of the cards do that to represent that over time you learn how to avoid these dangerous swipes. You become a legend, and you know that defeating a bear is easy, but early in the game it's a bit harder.
Right.
So what's your result? 10 plus 3 with your experience. You got a 13, and you just had to roll higher than what?
I think a 4.
So you can see under Savage Swipe, the text there says if the result is less than 10, you would lose to combat that turn.
Okay.
So you dodge the swipe, and now you get into the decision if you want to fight him or not. And so to avoid random defeats against overpowered creatures, you always have a chance to run away from a creature. So if you want to run like a giddy schoolgirl, you have the opportunity to. You just have to roll the action die and roll higher than a 5, and you would run away. And a player has to make that decision before they decide if they're going to roll to actually fight it. So you'd have to decide now, do you want to take the risk and fight the bear, or run away? You don't get any benefit from running away, but if you do lose a runaway or an escape attempt, you'll have a -1 penalty to your roll and have to fight it after that anyway.
Well,
so it gives you a bit of decision there.
Here's the type of hero I am. I would rather try to defeat this savage bear than have someone else run across him later in the game.
So Vin the Thief.
However, I am a thief and I should run away like a giddy schoolgirl. But I do have this potion that gives me a gain +3 to my turn.
Yes. And kind of touching base on equipment, so in many games you have to make a decision to use a piece of equipment before you do a roll, and I feel that in this particular case, in this game, it would make you feel pretty defeated and frustrated to use a potion and have it to have no effect.
Yes.
So the rule in this game is that you get to decide if you want to drink that potion or activate that spell or do whatever it is that you might be capable of doing after the roll to impact your die roll, so that you're not wasting cards or wasting abilities.
I like that.
So
let's go ahead and fight the bear, and then I will decide whether or not I want to use that potion.
So yeah, if you want to roll the red and black die, you can be black and the bear be red and roll simultaneously. And usually what I suggest is figure out the difference between your modifiers so that you're not doing extra math. So for example, he has a +4 and you have a
3.
3,
4.
so basically...
Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong
4.
guy, I'm sorry, 3.
Yeah. So basically, you would just add 1 to the bear's roll instead of trying to modify both your rolls. So you just know that the bear gets a +1 to their roll,
okay.
And you have to defeat the bear.
Gotcha. Oh, that's not looking good.
I think you did it, though. The bear was red.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the bear got a +1 to the roll. They got a 3, and you got a 4.
Yeah, 4.
And if you wanted to do all the math, of course, the bear would have a 6, and you would have a 7.
True.
So what happens when you defeat that bear? It's just a one-time roll, so you don't have to have 17 rounds of combat or go back and forth through initiative. The only time you'd have more than one combat roll is against these super powerful creatures on the side of the board, those quest creatures. They are impressively powerful with good reason, because you can't possibly defeat them in the early game. You have to gain that equipment and gain that experience to understand how to beat them. But this guy here, you defeat him with a single roll, and you gain both the experience. You're going to gain that 2 experience points.
Okay, let's get the experience right now.
Right on. And usually when I gain experience, before I even do the rest, I like to look at my chart and make sure if I get a combat bonus, I pump it up.
Okay.
But in this case, you don't. But once you get to 6 experience, you're going to get that 1 more combat.
Excellent.
All right. And then next, you're going to get what it says on your card, that 2 treasure box icon, which is reward cards.
All right.
But if you take a look at your character, you have an asymmetric ability. Only the thief has this cool ability on the top of his card, if you take a look at that.
When you draw your first treasure card, you may draw, each turn you may draw 2 cards instead. Choose one, then place the other one on the bottom of the reward deck.
And you can't use heavy armor, so if you came across heavy armor, that gives you a way to dodge it. So you're going to draw 2 reward cards, but first you can choose the first one by flipping over 2 cards and picking one.
Okay, let's go ahead and flip the first 2.
Because the thief is really good at looting and knowing where to find good stuff. So
we got a small shield and a scroll summoning.
yes, with your thief ability, you get to pick the one you want, and the other one goes on the bottom of the deck.
All right, so I see I can't use heavy armor, but a shield, I should be able to use that. That's a one-handed weapon.
Yeah, and if you look at the icon, it's got 1 hand, and it doesn't have a class symbol. If there was a class symbol, that means only that class could use it. If there's no class symbol, anybody can use it. So shields are pretty generic, except on the text it says wizards can't use it, because it's a little cumbersome to use a shield and cast a spell.
That is true. The scroll summoning is an item.
Yeah.
Worth 5 gold pieces.
Yeah, I'm glad that icon stands out. So any item that you pick up, you could actually sell for money if you're in a city. And that kind of takes away from if you have a dud card that doesn't match your class, then the card can always serve a purpose. And the scroll of summoning, if you look on the left-hand side of the board, there's a little generic card called Animal Allies. So that little wolf is what you would summon if you use that scroll, and it would take place on an item slot.
Oh, I'm on the right side of the board. Let's go to the left. Okay, so... Okay. And he's worth 2. Place an ally card on an empty slot. Okay, ally cards are not treated as rewards or equipment cards and are not affected by abilities and effects that refer to these cards.
Yes, so they're a little bit better than equipment because they're basically can't be affected by anything, and they'll give you that 2 extra combo. So he's your loyal ally till the end of the game.
You know what? A thief could use a loyal companion. I'm going to go
Absolutely.
ahead and put this one on the bottom of the deck.
It's not like you have any other friends.
That's true. And then I will...
So then your scroll would go to your hand, and then you would get your second card that you get from defeating that bear.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and draw that one now. Just so I can
But your second card, your thief's ability only affects the first card drawn each turn, so that you can't totally abuse this.
Okay, yeah, that's a good call. Let's go ahead and quit that.
So you got a powerful piece of armor, but it's one that you couldn't possibly use right now because it can only be used by the priest. It's Aura's special armor, and Aura is the goddess of Novus, or at least the recognized leader of faith. But it's worth 25 gold if you sell it, or if you ever become the advanced priest thief class. Yes, there is one of those.
Wow.
Then you could equip that armor.
So,
The priest thief is actually a necromancer, so you might not even be able to use that. You'd have to look at that later.
okay.
But if you take a look at that card, it really shows a lot of the icons here. This one's loaded with icons. So this is blue, so that means it's a magical item. It's got a head, which means it fills a head slot, but it also has a body. So this one, because it's such a big piece of armor, it gives you both. So you couldn't put on another head item while you have this equipped. And then, of course, it gives you the benefit that's on the armor itself. So really nice piece, but something you can't wear, but something that you might be able to sell.
I definitely would want to sell that later.
And so that would bring you to the end of the adventure phase, because when you travel, you don't do anything special with cards. You get to your location. And then when you get to your location, if your location has a generic effect, you might benefit from it. You went to a waypoint, so nothing happens when you go there.
Okay.
And so then you'd go to your recovery phase. And if you look on your card there, recovery phase means you can play more reward cards. So if you defeated a creature and got some cool stuff that you want to put on, that's your chance to put it on. You could play an adventure event if you had one, which you don't right now. If you were in a city, which is any of the class locations or locations that have the little castle icon, means that you can sell things off there to earn money.
Okay.
Or, not or, but and, if you've accumulated enough gold, which you will in the game, you'll accumulate gold as time goes on, you could trade in gold pieces for experience, like the chart shows above that reminder card on the other side. And what that represents is by getting gold, you gain fame in the world. You're recognized for being wealthy and being having a higher status. So you can trade that in for that experience, which will help you get to the end game faster or get combat bonuses faster. So being able to use money for both cards or experience gives you more decisions to make as a character.
Yeah.
And then the next option is if you were at 10 experience, you could change to an advanced class, which is really one of the cool elements of the game. You might not want to be a thief for the whole game. I mean, you could be. You don't have to become an advanced class. But an advanced class, you can see those up on below the allies. There's 10 of them. So basically, each combination of classes would have a card represented. Kind of like Magic has two color symbols that represent, for anybody that's played Magic, you've got Boros and you've got Simic and et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of the same concept with my classes. So your thief could become a thief fighter or a thief druid or a thief priest or a thief wizard. And each of those advanced classes offers different combat benefits or different asymmetric abilities that will help you become a better and more capable hero to try to get that legendary status.
Okay.
But you won't be able to do that now because you'd have to be at 10 experience at the end of your turn to become one of those, and then you're that class for the rest of the game, even if you dip under 10. And that would bring you to the end of your turn. So that sounds like a really long turn, but once you get into the hang of it, a turn really only takes about a minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it would be your turn.
Yeah, so I might strap on those leather boots during my preparation phase and say these boots are made for walking, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I also have a quest card. There's only 7 of these in the deck. This quest card says I would have to go to the abandoned wastelands and battle 8 combat-powered undead horde. I don't think I can do that right now. I'm not quite that strong, so I might save that card for later. And I'll show you a different mechanic of the game, and I'm going to explore Vase City. So if you just hover over me and press F, flip me over, just to represent that I'm exploring. So when you explore a location, there's different locations that have explore abilities. So if you look at the location guide, some of those locations have the word explore on it. If my location had that word, that would be my explore action. If it doesn't, so if you look at Vase City, apologize if it's not in numeric order on this one. It might be hiding somewhere. Vase City is second from the top column. I'm not sure why it ended up there. It would be alphabetical, but I think when they
I thought I seen it.
So first column, second
there it is.
row. So that one doesn't have an explore, which means my explore action is going to be the generic explore action. And to keep things simple, it's described very specifically on the reminder card. It says flip over the top card of the adventure deck.
Oops.
So let's start with that.
Flip the top card of the adventure deck. Okay.
Yep. If it were an encounter card, which it's not, but if it were, then it kind of represents me fighting something in the location I'm in. I'm defending that place, trying to protect it and become that legend. If it's not an adventure or encounter card, then it goes to my hand.
Okay, so
and then, since I didn't have to fight anything, the second part of that explore phase says if I've not faced an encounter this turn, I can get another adventure card or a reward card. So there is a fair benefit to exploring, and that's why you can't just sit there and do it over and over again. So it's early in the game, and I don't have much equipment, so I would want to draw the top reward card. So I found myself a mace. I'm pretty happy with that. And then I would go to my recovery phase. So I'm going to equip that mace into my hand.
okay.
And so between the mace and the boots, you can see they both have that combat symbol of 1. So I'd actually be up to 6 combat value now. So I'm a little bit stronger.
Nice.
And then at the end of my turn, I could sell stuff. Since I'm in a city, I choose not to. I could trade money in for an experience, but I don't have enough. And advanced to advanced class if I was at 10 XP. So that'd be the end of my turn.
Okay, and would you go ahead and get your bonus modifier for your combat at this point?
So that XP bonus is a constant bonus that fluctuates only if you gain or lose XP. So,
Okay.
For example, if I went down to 2 experience points, I would actually lose my combat bonus of +1. So it kind of fluctuates over time.
Okay, gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Cool. So then it would flip over to your turn.
Okay.
So you were making your way down to the lovely city of Donetsk in the frozen tundra.
Yep.
That's where your thief goes to hide away from the world so they don't put him in prison.
Yeah. So I would gain 2 movement.
Yep. Now you can see some icons on the map. There's only a couple of them have this travel icon. See that under Ice River? So if you look at Ice River, it's only that one in the flooded plains right now that have that symbol, but in future expansions that could become more relevant.
Okay.
But if you look at Ice River, while you travel there, it says if you face an encounter when you're traveling to or past Ice River, you're going to have -2 combat because it's frigid, harsh conditions. So you don't want to fight on your way through here.
Okay. So I'd get a -2 going through Ice River. So if I made this movement here, I would get a -2, correct?
Not permanently, just if you have an encounter, it'd be a temporary modifier.
Okay.
So then if you travel, what do you have to do?
If I travel, I have to roll the travel dice.
Absolutely. What's going to happen on your travel?
Well, hopefully I don't get an encounter.
So you've rolled the safe travel icon. So the safe travel icon gives you an option. You can either travel 1 extra location marker because you had a really simple travel. The day was good, the wind was nice, you didn't get stuck in the ice. Or you could gain 10 gold pieces if you really didn't need to move extra space. So you were traveling to Donetsk, you just got a freebie. You get there 1 turn earlier thanks to that roll.
Yeah, okay.
So once you're there, that's all that happens with your travel die. You have to take a look at that location guide again. So you're looking for Donetsk.
Donetsk, I just saw that. It was down here somewhere.
Yeah, this one is art that was done specifically for the game. You can see those shadowy towers. It's 2nd column, 5th row, I think. 6th row.
There we go.
That dark, snowy place, yeah. So that one has your thief icon, and it doesn't have a triggered ability. It just has a constant ability. The first time you visit there, if you're a thief, you get +2 experience and draw a card. So you don't have to wait till your next turn for that benefit. You get that one right away. So you get your 2 experience, which is always nice. And now you've affected your combat with that, right?
Yep, I get a +2.
So instead of +1, you're going to be +2. So you get to go up +1 more.
Okay.
Perfect. And then you get a reward card, but
I'm a thief.
What does that mean?
I get to look at the top 2.
That's right. You got the deck stacked.
Choose one and put the other on the bottom of the deck. Heavy gear bag. Oh, that's only for warriors?
You got it. Yep.
So my...
Steve, can I carry a heavy gear bag? That'd be too cumbersome.
Yeah, it would take a little while to get where I need. It would be good practice for my thieving skill.
Hey, you could put all your caltrops and your thief picks in there for sure.
I'm liking this +5 potion strength, so...
That is a fantastic card. Yep, absolutely. Anything that can help you in combat, definitely.
What is our max hand size?
Your maximum hand size is 5 at the end of a turn.
Okay.
And it's not very often you're going to get that high because you can put so much on your sheet and use so many things, but it's just there just in case. You don't want somebody with 10 cards in their hand that's just going to blow away a turn.
And I don't know what I did with it.
You lost your potion.
I did. I don't know. I thought I stuck it on this card, but it's not on that card now. I'll make sure it didn't.
You lost your potion of invisibility too.
That one's under here. I used it. I thought
you didn't need. I thought you didn't need to use it because you rolled a natural.
Oh, you're right. Man, I'm glad you're on my team.
Hey, But you got to find out what happened. If you search the deck, maybe you put it in there by mistake.
I might
You can pull it out of there. So you can right click and search.
Right click and search. Search.
And using that search function is a great way to show your audience
Oh yeah.
what you got.
All kind of cards.
Because you can just.
What was the name of the card?
You found a potion of strength.
Potion.
And so those one-time use items again are reminiscent of games like Diablo, or just that one-time effect that can really pump you up and help you win a battle.
Oh, here it
there's
is.
your potion. It's on the map.
There it is.
And that caravan, I think, belongs to me.
Yes.
And that potion you want to put on Finn instead of Kane.
I get those mixed up. I don't know why.
No worries. I'll take your potion.
Yeah,
I'll chug that thing.
Okay.
And then where's that caravan? Oh, there you go. Yeah, so you safely got to Donetsk. You followed the location guidelines, so you'd go to your recovery phase, and you don't really have much to do there. Actually, you're in a city, so you could sell this armor now if you wanted to.
Yeah, let's do that. I like gold.
So when you're in a city, which is any of those class locations or the castle locations, you sell that for the value on the bottom right of the card.
Okay.
And in this game, you go up by 5s each time, so you'll go up to 35.
Okay.
Some cards will give you more gold when you sell things, and some cards will allow you to sell in places that aren't even cities, but I don't have any of that right now. So that would bring you to the end of your turn. You can't buy anything at the end of your turn. You can exchange for XP if you're at 50 or higher, which you're not, so that would be it.
Okay.
So then Kane, he can't explore because you can see he's flipped on his head. He's already had his fun in Bay City. He's got to prove that he's willing to travel, so he flips over. You're going to put these leather boots to the test. I've got some decent combat, so you know what? I'm going to be a daring fighter and go towards this quest for death. So I'm going to travel south to the abandoned wasteland, which was my quest for death card indicates. But before I can do anything with it, I've got to roll that travel die because I got to make it safely there first.
Oops. All right.
So I have a safe travel icon. I want to be in abandoned wasteland, so I'm going to take $10 if you could throw that on Kane.
Yep. Let's go down to Kane here. 1, 2.
All right, so now that I'm safely in the abandoned wasteland, I would check the abandoned wasteland to see if there is a static ability. Take a look for that one. Abandoned wasteland is...
Here it is.
Yeah, you got it. So that one has an explore ability, which means the ability only happens if I spent a turn exploring there. So I'm safe there. So then I would go to my recovery phase, and I can play this event in my card now, or event card that's in my hand. It says, to complete this quest, I must travel to abandoned wastelands, which I did. And then I can use this card to battle an undead horde that has a +8 combat but no abilities. So I'm going to take a risk here, and I'm going to play that card. And so there's no card to represent that undead horde, but we're still going to have a combat. So I'm going to be black, and the enemy will be red. And they have a +8, and I'm currently at +6. So they're going to add 2 to their roll, and I add nothing. Come on, big money.
Oh, yeah.
It says 10. I'm victorious. If for some reason I had the 8 and they had the 10, I could have activated my fighter ability. So if you look and zoom in on the fighter class card, I have something called an expert maneuver. So I had some faith in that if I rolled less, I could discard a card from my hand to give myself a temporary combat boost.
Okay.
But thankfully, I don't even have to do that. So I've defeated this. So the quest card says I gain 3 experience. And this card kind of sits on underneath my character card just to represent that I defeated that quest.
3, okay, and right here?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
And then I'm up to 6 XP, so I'm going to get 1 more combat bonus because I'm smarter now.
Yes.
Then I go to my recovery phase. I've got nothing left I want to do, so go to your turn.
Okay. So, my first turn is, I've already had, I'm in Donetsk. I'm a thief.
So you've already got that one-time benefit.
Yep. So it really doesn't benefit me to stay in here.
You could explore to try to find some stuff, or you could travel back to another location. So that's where those decision points come in. When do you want to explore? When do you want to keep on moving? Do you have?
Let's keep moving.
All right. So I'll tell you about some of these locations then. Different locations might give you one-time effects, and maybe as a thief character, maybe you want to go and loot and take a risk and try to steal from Kismatic the Lich Lord. He's got a magical keep, and if you can sneak into his keep, you can find a magic item. So you could start traveling your way to Kismatic's keep if you wanted to.
Kismatic's
or
keep?
Or if you just want to find money, you could make your way to the Ghostly Coast, and you're going to find a random amount of treasure there. So what would you prefer?
I'm going to try to get to Kismatic's keep.
All right, so you're going to move 2 map markers. Yep, you're back in the Ice River. You encountering while you're cold. This could be devastating. Flip that top card over. You found an orc in the frozen tundra. So does he have a special ability?
No. He just has text. Oh, it says if you have less than 8 experience, you get a -1 in battle.
Yeah, so he's intimidating, and if you haven't faced orcs before, you get. So poor Vin is a little worried about this orc. Yeah. So you're not only going to get a -1 from the orc, but you also have -2 from the Ice River. So this could be a tough battle for you, and you get to decide if you want to fight him or run. Now, he only gives you -1 experience if you lose to him and lose 10 gold, so it's not devastating if he beats you. And you got a couple of potions. Oh, you never summoned your wolf. You could summon your wolf as well. Your wolf stays around forever, so you can get rid of that at any time to bring him into play.
Let's do that. I'm gonna
bring along a friend. That'll help.
I'm gonna speak my magic words.
Do it.
And my wolf companion.
You must name your wolf.
Okay, so my wolf is the name of my wolf. Usually I'm quicker than this. Is going to be Gibson.
Gibson. Oh, the dire wolf.
The dire wolf Gibson. Okay.
So he'll cover up the item slot. It just means that you'll have 1 less item play slot, but he's still better than most items. So.
Okay, with Gibson to my side, I'm feeling a little bit more.
So you can permanently adjust your combat modifier by 2 to show that you've got him attached to you.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. And now you can make that decision if you want to run or fight. So if you get a -3, you guys are actually on an even keel, and you win ties. So.
Okay, yep. I'm going to go ahead and battle him. I'm black, I guess, and he's red?
Yeah, you got it.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you smoked him.
Smoked him. Critical fail.
Poor orc warrior is frozen. You probably just crushed him into 1,000 pieces. He's so brittle. So what do you get for that?
All right, so I am getting victory. Get a +1 reward and 10 gold.
And I always do experience first, just in case. So that big 2 there.
Okay.
Grab that first, because sometimes what I've found is if they don't do that first, sometimes they get excited about their rewards and money and forget to get their experience.
Yep. And I did just that. So.
So then grab your 1 reward card, but you're a thief because you're just good.
I'm going to flip these 2 cards over here, and okay.
Oh, you got the dagger. Thieves like daggers.
I love daggers.
You can see your little thief icon is even on that dagger because you get a perk for using that. Stabby McStabberson.
Yes. You may use this at the beginning of your adventure phase. If you do, skip the rest of the phase and travel to any location on the map.
Yeah, that one's really good in the late game. If you really want to get to a quest creature, you can jump from one place anywhere on the map. So it's pretty awesome that way because you've seen how long it can take to travel.
Yes. I think I am.
But then
And oops, I'm going to go ahead and put that one on the bottom. I'm looking at the short game right now.
Hey, you got to look out for numero uno. Who cares about the people on the other side of the world?
Right
You
now,
need that dagger.
they have to defend for themselves.
So that would go to your hand.
Oops.
You'll get to play it right away, but then you get your 10 gold pieces from your card.
That's right.
So you defeat that. And that would be, so that was you traveling. You traveled to Ice River, and Ice River has no other abilities other than that combat, which you negated very well. So now you go to your recovery phase, and you can grab that dagger.
Okay. Equipping the dagger. And
got it.
I'm going to go ahead and adjust by 2 on my combat.
That's right. You're stronger than Kane right now.
Oof. There ain't nothing
Nice.
like a slightly warrior-esque thief.
Well, I can picture you riding Gibson with a potion of invisibility in your backpack and a potion of strength hanging at your belt and a dagger ready to toss. The world is yours to gain.
It is. It is. I might be the first ruler of Novus.
This is possible. All right, I think that's... Oh, no, you don't have enough money to do anything yet, so it'll go to my turn.
Okay.
I've conquered a glorious quest in the Abandoned Wastelands, and I'm very proud of that moment. So I'm going to make my way up to Vase City and then left to the waypoint. I'm going to go to my city. So I got to travel, roll that travel die. Safe travels. Nope. Encounter. Dun, dun, dun. What's it going to be?
Let's see.
Ah, the oxen. So oxen are an interesting race in this world. In the world of Novus, not everything is peachy keen. The oxen were around before the Maelstrom, but they're also been enslaved by the humans for several hundred years. And so basically they are used almost like oxen in the real world. They are used to plow fields and to build cities, and just a completely enslaved race. So it's an unfortunate circumstance and kind of a sad time for the humans when they have to enslave oxen.
Yeah.
But that being said, that's the thematic reason why when you encounter the oxen, you can just discard it and not fight it because they're not going to fight you unless you choose to fight them.
Ah, okay.
So this guy's got a 5 combat and no special abilities. I've got a 7 combat. Now, I could role play this and say I want to be paladin-esque and not slay slaves because I'm Kane and I shouldn't do that. But this is a game about becoming the first legend and gaining experience. So
Right.
we're gonna battle. We're gonna say this oxen is out of control. He's raged. He's foaming at the mouth, and I gotta stop him. So let's roll these dice. So I'm black. I have 3 to his 2. I have +7. So yeah, definitely took this oxen down. So I will benefit with 2 experience, bringing me up to 9. We're on even keel here. And I will gain no, because these slaves don't have anything, I don't get anything. No money, no rewards,
Yeah.
just a little experience.
Just the experience of the fight.
Making the world a safer place.
Yes.
So I successfully get to my waypoints. Nothing happens there. I can't sell, I can't buy. So that will make it your turn, sir.
Okay. Let's go ahead and...
So now you have something we haven't done yet. If you look
Okay.
at your preparation phase, you could use that money that you've worked so hard to achieve to buy an adventure reward card. Or you can keep on stashing that up and saving it to earn experience. So that's a decision each player can make every turn, whether they're going to keep saving money or hope for a good card on top of one of those decks.
Yeah, I think just to try it out, let's go ahead and spend 25 gold here.
Do it. And are you going to search for an adventure card or a reward card?
I like, let's see here, let's do adventure.
All right. Now there is there's 3 cards in this deck that are a bit of a risk, and they're called curse cards. Hopefully you don't draw one of those.
I probably did.
You have found some money. You found a pilfer. Nice. If you're playing solo, this card would be taken out. There's a few cards that are actually take that. There's only a couple take that mechanics in this game. I tried to minimize that, but pilfer is one of them. So that would go to your hand because you purchased that card.
Okay.
And then you've seen in the preparation and recovery phase, there's you can play an event card during those times.
Yes.
Unless the card has a certain time condition. So in this one, it has a timing condition right on the text. You have to be in my location to pilfer from me because you can't teleport your hand. You're not that good of a thief.
No, not unless I had that card I put on the bottom of this deck.
Your scroll of teleportation, that's right. So that was the preparation phase. So then you'd move on to your main phase.
And we wanted to go to Chasmatic's Keep.
You want to be a legendary thief that can steal from a lich. Yep. So you'd have to make your way north.
1, 2, and let's roll our adventure.
So you have found an adventure card, is what that icon is. So it matches the top of that deck. So you just get the top card, and even if it's an encounter, it goes to your hand. So yeah, it's an encounter, but that one goes to your hand because the only way you encounter when you roll a die is if you roll that encounter symbol.
Okay.
So why would you want an encounter card in your hand? Well, we can take a look at your explore option on that cheater card there, and it says if you do explore and don't have an encounter, then instead of drawing a second card, you can play an explore card to force an encounter. So it gives you a way to make yourself have a combat because you might want to battle something for experience or cards.
Oh, okay.
So just a different mechanism there to help encourage fighting. So you rolled your travel die, you got to the Abandoned Wasteland. The Abandoned Wasteland is an explore mechanic, so you'd only trigger that if you spent a turn exploring there.
Okay.
So then you're off to your recovery phase, which nothing happens because you've spent all your money on adventures. And so that would go to my turn.
Okay.
So I'm going to continue on my journey, traveling towards Exire. So I'm going to go through these tropics of Delmeria, and trust me, I don't want to. Well, maybe I do want to stop there. You know what? I'm really going to be the hero here. So I'm going to stop at the tropics of Delmeria. Nothing happens until I roll my travel die, though. Encounter again. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, so that one actually, if you put that card up on above Asmakai, you can see another Reptosaur up there. That's not supposed to be in the deck. That must be an error.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then grab that next encounter card. An assassin. It's like I'm fighting you.
Uh-oh, this was practice.
Yeah, this was actually the original character art that I commissioned for the thief character.
Oh.
But then I wanted the same artist to do all 5 classes, so instead we turned him into an enemy, and Andrea Butera did all the class art.
Nice.
This piece of art here was done by a guy named Nikula Markea, and he did some great art for me on Duel of the Dragons as well. Nice. So it is art owned by the game, but he's in this creature instead. But this guy's dangerous. You look at him, and he is going to try to backstab me. He's sneaky. He's a sneaky thief in the tropical forest, so let's do that action. So I have to roll a die. I add my XP, so I'm going to add 9 to the roll. What did I get?
10.
Uh-oh. That's a 1. What happens when I roll a 1 in Legends of Novus? It's called a critical fail, or tragic fail, which means no matter what I roll, I fail.
Oh.
Yeah, because you want to have a chance for even the most powerful hero to make a mistake, and for the person who's far behind to have a hope at victory. So a tragic fail is the reason there. I'm planning on introducing a luck coin that will negate 1 tragic fail per game per player. So each player would have 1 luck coin. I don't have that in the game yet, but just based on some player experiences that don't like tragic fails, it would give them a way to play with that rule, but have a way to negate it once a game.
Nice, okay.
So this guy backstabbed me. He was successful. So if I rolled less than 10, which I did because I had a tragic fail, I get -5 combat this battle, and I can't run away.
Ooh.
That hurt. He shoved his dagger in between my... Well, I didn't have any armor on, so right in my back.
Yeah.
I was allowed to add... Yeah, so when I fight him, which I have to do, I'm only going to get a +2 this combat, and he's going to get his +4. So let's roll that up.
So you need a high number here.
So I was severely injured, but I still managed to recover, turn around, and punch this guy in the face, and then smash him with my mace.
Nice.
Sorry, assassin, it's not your day.
It is not your day.
So I will gain 2 experience for that glorious encounter in the woods.
Okay.
And since I broke 10 experience, I'm going to... Oh, no. I'm at 11, so now I'm going to get an extra 1 in combat.
Yep.
Becoming more and more powerful. You can see I'm getting to a point where I might even fight one of these quest creatures one day. But not only that, I then gain 2 reward cards. Mine are random because I don't have your thief power, so I'll get the top 2 reward cards. So the thief might be hard to beat, but I get a nice benefit when I do. And then I get 10 gold pieces from them.
Nice.
Now, as much as I'd like to play with those cards right now, I got to make sure I follow the rules of the game and check up on the Tropics of Delmeria, make sure nothing happens. Of course, I know the rules. Tropics of Delmeria is an explore location, and if I explore there on my next turn, I get the chance to battle that Reptosaur that we put up above Asmakai. He's a special creature that he's kind of like a mini quest creature, but anybody can keep fighting them.
Oh, okay.
So now that I'm safely at my location, I can go to my recovery phase, and I'm going to take a look, and I think this battle axe is stronger than this mace. So let's take this mace off. I can put it back in my hand. You don't have to discard it because you want to treat it like any RPG. You can change out your items as you see fit.
Okay.
And let's throw on this Scroll of Knowledge as well onto an item slot. And so that Scroll of Knowledge is pretty cool. I can use it to gain 2 experience, but if I was a wizard or a priest, I gain an extra experience, so I don't have to use that right now. Now we come to a momentous time in the game. What happens when I can break 10 experience?
When you can break 10 experience, you can... what was it? You can change your class?
You got it. So I am no longer a meager fighter. I'm going to become... I'm going to live up to my noble heritage and become a perfect paladin, which is a fighter-priest combination card.
Nice.
So what happens when you become an advanced class is you must cover up or remove your prior class. And if there's a difference in combat power, so my fighter was a +3 and the perfect paladin is a +4, so I'm just going to go up by the difference or down by that difference.
Okay.
So that's cool. And now I can equip anything that has a priest icon or a fighter icon.
fighter.
So if I had that Aura's armor, I could equip it, whereas beforehand I couldn't. And then I have some new abilities. So in this case, the Perfect Paladin has a pretty potent ability. They win the first round of any quest battles, but they can never escape. They also can never be cursed. So really living up to that paladin-esque nature. Every ability on these cards is supposed to be thematic to the class.
Nice. Okay.
Then I have an activated ability called Righteousness. And again, to represent the paladin's desire not to be greedy and holding things to themselves, they can get rid of 25 gold each turn to gain an experience. It's kind of like giving back to the people or showing that good-naturedness.
Good. Okay.
So that's it's not mandatory, but it's optional. And then the last thing they have is a Divine Light, which helps you heal curses off other players. And that's more beneficial if you're playing a team game or a co-op style game, which are options in the game. No, not really a reason I'd want to come and take a curse off of you.
Right.
All right, so all that being said, now I'm a perfect paladin. I'm safe in the Tropics of Delmeria. I've got a battle axe, so I'm really becoming epic here. But there's a reason I chose that priest as my thing. If you look back at my Scroll of Knowledge, now I can use that to gain 3 experience instead of 2.
Scroll of Knowledge. Yes.
Yep. So I'm going to use that. Goes to the discard pile. It's a one-time use card, and gain 3 more experience.
Nice.
So I'm trying to get to 25 experience and defeat a quest creature. So that'll be the end of my turn. And at the end of my turn, I'm going to milk it. I'm going to be that paladin to sacrifice 25 gold to gain 1 more experience.
Overboard. Welcome.
Did I lose you?
No, I'm still here.
Okay. And if you got to cut it short or anything, I completely understand.
No. Can you hear me? No, I'm good. I was talking on chat.
Yeah, no worries.
Overboard, thanks for the follow. Yes, you're looking for
So I will sacrifice 25 gold for one
Novus
experience, and then it'll be your turn.
Tabletop Simulator. It is on there. If you need a link or if you need the Kickstarter, I can put that in the comments. So let me know. Oh, you help. Okay, you help make the mod. Yeah, no, sorry, I was chatting on Twitch there.
Yeah, no problem. So if you take 25 gold off, give me one experience, and then we'll make it your turn.
Okay, 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and one experience point it is. And I'm trying, oh yeah. Overboard Games said they helped make the mod here.
Yeah, like I was saying, I put together my original board on Tabletop Simulator, and then they used their expertise to really finesse it and lock things down. They added these special clickable trackers that I didn't know how to make. And they put the rulebook embedded in the game.
It looks really
so
good.
I was very thankful that they did that for me. And they even did a how to play video as well.
Nice. It looks really good on here.
Awesome.
Let's see here.
You're almost to that Lich Keep.
Yes, let's battle that Lich. Let's go. Well, first we got to, yeah, we can travel. Oh, I gotta do preparation phrase first here. Let's see here. Play any number of reward cards. I don't have any to play. Play an adventure card. I don't need to play those yet. Purchase one adventure card or reward card for. Okay, so we can go to the adventure phase.
Yes, quite often there's not a lot to do in the preparation phase, and so that's why the turns do go pretty quick.
1 and 2. We're going to go to Asthmatic's Keep. And I've got to roll this infamous dice.
Sure do.
Ugh.
And hey, that's a good thing. You want to build up that experience.
Well, okay, yeah,
You're
right.
You're tough. You're at what? 8 combat. You're tough.
Yeah.
You found some bandits though. Thief found a bandit. What's going to happen? Oh, actually, can you delete that card? That got replaced by assassin.
Oh, okay, yeah. So let's go ahead.
You can tell by that old format.
Oh, yeah, I see the difference in the card.
I got to fix up the mod.
That's all right. It looks good. All right, here we go. Ooh, yeah.
You found the skeletal knight.
I ain't
Hey,
too
and
worried
that's
about
quite
skeletons.
quite fitting because the rumor is in the world of Novus that Kismatic is responsible for the undead coming back to life and terrorizing.
So this is fitting.
So it is fitting. The skeletons are pretty easy though. When you find them individually, they don't have much power.
Bladed weapons get a -1 in this battle, so I will have a -1 modifier since I am using my blade.
Yep.
And let's see here. He doesn't have any special abilities, so we can just roll our combat dice.
Yep. And you stand a pretty good chance of winning unless you have a tragic fail.
Right. There we go.
Now the enemies don't get a tragic fail, but a 1 is still bad for them.
True.
So you absolutely crush that skeleton. Maybe you added a dagger to its skull, like that arrow that's going through it. Love that little piece of art by Andrea there.
I like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my experience real quick before we do anything else.
You got it. You've hit that number 10. It's good. And your 1 reward card might be your last chance to use that thief ability.
1, 2. Oops, wrong button. Let's do it like that. There we go. Can't use that one, so this one will go on the bottom.
Oh, that ring is handy. Yep. So that one gives you an ability you haven't seen yet. It'll give you an extra travel, so every time you move, you can move an extra spot.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it gives you 2 extra escapes, so if you do try to run away, instead of rolling a 6 or higher, you can roll an 8 or higher and get away. So you can run like the wind, riding on your griffin with Gibson by your side. Gibson, get on the griffin.
Go.
All right, so you're safely at Kismatic's Keep. That is an explore location, so you won't be able to benefit from that till next turn.
Okay.
So then you go to your recovery phase.
Recovery phase it is.
And the one thing you'll get to do is advance if you like, now that you hit 10 XP.
We might as well advance.
So you'll have 4 choices because you'll be crossed over with 4 potential classes. So you're just looking for the 4 cards that have the cross dagger symbol. And that's what you're allowed to become. Now the Nefarious Necromancer is a error, so that one should be the Thief Priest. You can see on the bottom right, it shows the Wizard Priest symbol. That's supposed to be the 4th Thief symbol.
Which one? I'm sorry.
The Necromancer is supposed to be a Thief Priest, so that's your 4th option. So you're going to have the Aggressive Assassin, the Relentless Ranger, the Nefarious Necromancer, and then there should be one more Thief crossover. Oh yes, the Thaumaturgist, if you remember that card.
Oh yeah. Thaumaturgist. There it is.
There it is, yep.
Okay.
So you could stick with your assassin-like nature that you seem to be building up. You could switch over to a time thief. You could become more in tune with the druidic nature and become a ranger, or you could bond with the undead that you just encountered and become a necromancer. Did Kismatic sway you to the dark side?
That's a good question.
Moment of truth for Vin.
I think I'm going to go ahead with the Aggressive Assassin.
Awesome. So Aggressive Assassin, your 2 becomes a 4, so you get that extra 2 combat right away.
Okay.
Really climbing up there in the world. You can't have heavy armor or 2-handed weapons, so you're safe there. And when you defeat a creature, you get extra money because you just know how to pilfer like the best of them.
Yes.
And then kind of like the assassin I fought, you've got your own little sneak attack.
Discard
but
2
to
attacks? Oh, I got to discard 2 cards.
Yeah.
Okay, but I gain 5. Ooh. First round of battle. If you win the round, you win the battle.
So as I mentioned, the only time you fight more than one round of battle is against quest creatures. But now that you're an aggressive assassin, you might sneak up on that demon, find a way into his demonic temple, and stab him in the back before he even understands what you're doing. So that's your sneak attack there. But it costs you 2 cards, and for that particular one, you can still use it after you roll, but you have to sacrifice the 2 cards, of course, to do it.
Right, okay. And
so there you are.
At this point, I can equip now, correct?
Yep. You got your ring, no combat bonus, but it gives you some other perks that you're going to enjoy later.
Okay. I think that's the end of my turn.
So I'm going to do what I set out to do, and I'm going to flip myself over and explore in the Tropics of Delmeria. So if we take a look at that card, Tropics of Delmeria is on the bottom right of that grid. Oh no, that's the jungles, sorry. Tropics, where'd you go?
First card?
Oh yes. So Tropics of Delmeria, if I have not defeated a Reptosaur this game, which I have not, I get to battle one using that special Reptosaur card. So each player that plays this game has a chance to fight this bonus creature. If you look at him above Asmakai the Demon. So you can bring him in front of my character sheet just to have him nearby. And I'm going to battle this Reptosaur. So this is like a mini quest battle. He's got plus 11 attack. And I have to beat him best 2 out of 3 rounds. So I got plus 9 attack. I've got nothing special I'm going to do this turn. So we're just going to but I have a special ability here. If oh no, it's not a quest battle. So yeah, I'm just going to hope that I can outroll this beast.
All right.
First roll, I have a 2. It has a 7. I have lost the first round of combat because they get plus 11. So really they get plus 2 and I get plus nothing. Let's go round 2. I'm not running away because I can't because I'm a paladin.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Oh.
So the first defeat of the game, I suffer a defeat of 2 experience lost.
Okay.
And that will bring me to my recovery phase. You can never go below 1 experience, and I used to have a mechanism where you could actually die and then have to change characters, but turns out no player defeat and elimination is not a fun mechanic in games. So instead, you just become a little weaker. So Reptosaur will go away, and I could fight him again next turn, or 2 turns from now if I wanted to, because I haven't defeated one this game. But either way, that'll be the end of my turn, and it'll go to your turn.
Okay, so we need to...
So you are trying to loot Cosmetics Keep.
So I need to search.
Yep. Now, Cosmetics Keep is special where you can either choose just to fight the Lich, or you can choose to loot the keep. It's kind of got a dual purpose. It's the only quest location where you don't have to fight the quest creature when you go there. So you're going to do that explore option, but there's a risk. If you get a 1 or a 2, Cosmetic finds you and you're going to have to fight him.
All right, let's search.
So roll on the action die, and you do not want a 1 or a 2.
Okay.
You're safe.
Ooh.
So now what you get to do is flip over the top card of the reward deck until you find the first blue item, which is a magical item. So you have found yourself a magical helm, which has no class restrictions, which is great for you.
Wow.
So short sword will get shuffled back in, and your helmet will go to your hand. You found a helmet in Cosmetics Keep. And you go to your recovery phase. And you're going to be an assassin with a magical helmet.
Why not?
It's so magical that even an assassin can wear it.
That's right.
And not only do you get +2 combat when you wear it, you can see here throughout the game many abilities of creatures make us roll that action die. You get a 2 bonus from now on if you're wearing that.
I like it.
Nice.
Recovery phrase, play any number of rewards cards. Let's go ahead and equip that. Play adventure cards, sell reward cards. I don't think I want to sell anything. Change it. I can't exchange XP. And I already got my X class. Discard down to 5, and I'm good to go.
All right. So I failed there. I'm going to flip over and make my way to my hometown of Exire.
Okay.
And I'll roll the travel die.
He rolls the travel.
I've got about 10 more minutes, and then I have to run away. So I get an adventure card. Top card of the adventure deck becomes mine.
Okay.
That's a reward card. As much as I'd like that armor, I've got to put that back.
My bad.
It looks so pretty on my paladin.
I got excited.
So I get to put that to encounter in my hands. I'm now safely in my hometown, so I gain 2 experience because I haven't been there yet this game. And the thing to remember, and this is another kind of strategic element, is you're a fighter as well. So the first time you go to Exire, now you gain 2 experience for going there.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So later in the game, you get that benefit. Now, I couldn't go back to, like, you can't go back to Donetsk and get that bonus for the thief again.
Right,
but you can get the fighter. So it just gives you a reason to travel across the map.
Okay.
And then I get the top reward card, which happens to be that armor, because I was already planning to go there anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, I've got my armor after all. It was meant to be. So I'll go to my recovery phase, strap on that beautiful set of plate mail. What's the restriction there? I have -3 escape. That's okay, because as a paladin, I can't run away anyway. If I'm not an advanced class, I'd get a penalty because I don't know how to use this armor very well, but I'm advanced. And a wizard can't wear it because a wizard in plate mail is just silly.
Yeah.
So I get 3 combat bonus. That brings me up to a nice dozen.
Nice.
And sometimes I like to reflect on my sheets kind of mid-game and just make sure all my math is right. So if we do a quick analysis, my combat is 4. My experience of 15 gives me an extra 3, so I'm now up to 7. My battle axe brings me up to 10. My leather boots bring me up to 11, and my full plate brings me up to 14. So I should be at 14 combat
14.
now. And it's really easy to overlook that in a game, so it's always a good idea to reassess where you're at. And so that'll be the end of my turn. You're up, and I'm going to warn you, next turn, I'm going for Asmakai. Actually, it'll be 2 turns, because I have to get to him and then I have to fight him.
So I'm going to go ahead and go after Chasmatic, or wait, yeah.
So because you explored there last
I
turn,
can't.
you would have flipped over and you wouldn't be
Yep.
eligible this turn. You'd actually have to leave the keep and go back.
Okay.
But you can travel to the Forest of Delusion, which is only 2 steps away.
Ah, yes.
But actually, you have the ability to travel 3 steps thanks to that lovely ring.
That ring.
Yeah.
So let's go to the Forest of Delusion.
All right.
Roll
So you
our
travel
adventure.
there. Safe travels. So you already got to where you really wanted to go, so you could get the 10 gold bonus instead.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that. I like gold.
And then the Forest of Delusion is an explore location or a quest creature location. So next turn you can fight that massive scorpion spider.
Ooh.
I love this art, by the way. If you zoom in on that, I drew a rough sketch of a spider with a scorpion tail and sent it to the artist and said, "Can you do something with this?" And this is what he made. So it's pretty cool.
Like it.
All right. So your recovery phase. I don't think you got much to do there now.
I would like to go ahead and cash this encounter in.
So encounter is not worth any money. Oh, I see. So the encounter card, if you look at your explore or adventure phase, it's only if you did the explore action
Ah, yes.
on a location without an explore
Without an
effect.
explore
So it's
effect. You're right. Okay.
very specific for those. But you could save that for when you're doing a little sneak attack. Maybe you're going to sneak attack Sistos.
Ah, yeah.
All right. So I am going to travel north to the demonic temple of Sick. Sick, by the way, is the religion of fanatic humanoids that have been mind manipulated by Asmakai to build his temple and do whatever he wants. So
Okay.
the disciples of Sick are not a good group of humans to be part of.
Ooh.
Anyway, that's just some more lore for you there. So I must travel with my travel die.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, we still haven't rolled a reward. So I have safe travels. I'll take that 10 experience points, or 10 gold, I should say.
Okay.
And I also have to wait till my next turn to explore there to fight Asmakai. So it'll go to your turn.
All right. Let's sneaky.
So you're going to flip over and explore in the Forest of Delusion. So that's where Sistos resides. And you'll see there, if you do zoom in on the location, if Sistos is ever defeated, that location gets a special power. So that's beneficial if you're playing in multiplayer games. It gives the person that might be trailing behind you a reason to still go to those locations. But you can only use that Explorer option once that quest creature is dead.
Okay.
Anyhow, so you're going to battle Sistos, so why don't you throw him in front of you? So Sistos has a special power called a Viscous Strike.
Ooh.
It's a pretty big one. You have to roll higher than a 25. Otherwise, you must destroy one of your rewards. It's kind of like it gets chewed up or destroyed by his acidic stream.
I got to be next to perfect on this roll. Here we go.
So you get
Give me a 20 or a 10.
Yeah. So actually, you probably didn't have a chance of beating it, and that's part of the reason why defeating quest creatures when you're low experience is a challenge. But we're doing it for fun because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So you got 13 plus your helmet bonus gave you a 15, which is not quite enough. So you must destroy a reward of your choice.
Ooh. Let's do. I won't use this one.
It has to be something you have equipped.
Oh.
So you have adventure cards in your hand, but yeah, you have to lose a dagger or a ring or a potion, one of your choice.
Let's do the potion.
All right. So it kind of seems thematic, I guess, for your sneak attacks that he still gets to do that to you, but it's hard to bypass that ability. So you can do your first roll of combat now if you like, and then decide if you want it to be a sneak attack after the roll, just to stick with that mechanic of the game. So he's going to get plus 15 and you have plus 10, unless you want to recalculate, make sure your math is all right.
Let's look here. I get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And your dagger bonus
And
of
my
10.
dagger bonus of 10, okay. My experience is 10. Yeah,
So you get 2 more combat.
yep, okay.
Don't want to gyp you.
No.
There you go. So now he's going to get a +3 to his roll, but then you can decide if you want to sneak attack or use that potion of strength after. And the cool thing about the potion of strength is you get it for the turns. You would get it for all 3 rolls if you had to fight him 3 rounds.
Okay, so he's got 19 right now. And I've only got 15, but I could get I need 4. I could sneak attack.
So yeah. So you could sneak attack, discard 2 cards, and you get that +5.
Yeah.
And because it's the first round of battle, you'd smoke them. Or you could use your potion, which will do effectively the same thing. Without discarding cards.
Let's do that then. Discard a 2.
Vin the Thief unleashes a sneak attack, stabs that spider in the abdomen before he even notices, and it collapses. Acidic spew pools around him. Congratulations, you've defeated the first quest creature in Legends of Novus.
Nice.
You gain 4 experience points. Nice little boost there. And so while we're over here, yeah, you'll get 1 extra combat for that. And then you're going to gain 3 rewards.
Woo.
Nice. And Sistos can sit pleasantly beside your card to show that you have destroyed him permanently.
I'd just like to see what I would have gotten here. Ring of Resistance. Ooh.
So you get all 3. You get all 3 of those, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. What was I thinking? These are all mine.
That's right, because you don't have that thief ability anymore. You just get top deck. All right. So then you would go to your recovery phase. Now that you see that you got the first piece of treasure, there's quite a few of those in the decks, but we just happened to get one for the first time. Those you can cash in at any time. They kind of break the rules. You don't have to do it on certain parts. The Staff of the Maelstrom, only usable by a wizard, 2-handed, so that's a good item to sell for you later or save for a sneak attack. And you found another ring, which is really useful against demons and dragons.
I definitely would equip the ring.
And not only that, you get +2 for it to begin with. So it's a magical ring, plus a bonus against those other creatures. So
Nice.
you can see yourself becoming legendary, Vin. You and your little Gibson are just making a world of difference here.
Yes, our name is spreading across the universe of Novus.
I'm on the other side of Novus, and I keep hearing about this Vin guy, and it's a spider got destroyed that I wanted to smash. What's going on?
Nice.
So end of your turn. You don't have enough experience or enough gold to gain experience for it. So I think that's it for you.
That's it.
So go to my turn, and I'm going to take a risk. I'll flip myself over, and I'm going to slay. Now, part of the lore of this game is that Exire, which is the city I'm from, is the last city before the demonic temple, and there's a league of knights there, the Knights of Exire, that Cain happens to be part of, and their role is to defend the rest of Novus from getting invaded by the demons that Asmakai keeps summoning. So Cain's personal mission, even though it's not a rule or a game bonus, but kind of part of his lore, is that he wants to destroy Asmakai. So trying to represent that. So I'm going to go forth, and when you're playing this game, you're not necessarily picturing yourself as the sole hero. You could picture that maybe you have a band of characters that are with you, and you're just kind of representative of that. So maybe I have a tag-along knight or a little ally by my side, but I just kind of represent that with Cain.
Okay.
All right, so what happens with Cain? Well, he has a mind crusher power, hence his name, Asmakai, the mind crushing demon. I have to roll and add my XP of 15, and I have to get higher than 23. So let's roll that die. It's going to be a risk, I know, but I'm willing to take it just for fun.
Ooh.
Oh, 23. We did it. We did it.
Nice.
That was very unlikely of that happening, but if I failed that, I would have discarded my hand and ran away.
Yeah.
Because he puts the fear of the demon power into you. Okay, so we bypass that. We go right to combat. He's got a +23, and I only have +14. And I don't have any bonuses to speak of, so I'm really going all in, hoping for some fun here. So let's do that roll. What happened?
You got a success.
Was that the... Oh, so I got a 10 plus 15. I got 25, and he got 24. So I actually beat him the first round of combat.
Nice.
Now look at Perfect Paladin. You automatically win the first round of quest battles. So I already beat him once, and this was my second roll. So Asmakai has been crushed by Kane.
Nice.
Sorry, Asmakai. Those are some lucky rolls. Good job. So defeat Kane, I get 6 experience. That brings me up to 21. If I get to 25 now, I'll win the game because I've now defeated a quest creature. So the secondary condition is to get to that 25 experience. But not only that, I gain 25 gold and 4 reward cards. This guy is tough, so you get a huge benefit from beating him.
Wow.
So you can see how near the end of the game things kind of scale and landslide, just to show how much you can earn from the power that you gain. All right, so I'll throw that holy water on an item slot during my recovery phase. We'll cash those rare gems in for 50 gold pieces. But don't bother knocking it up because I'm going to cash in those 50 gold pieces with this little combat or gold piece chart. 50 gold pieces is worth 1 extra gold, so I'm going to cash that in, or 1 extra experience. And I'm going to use my paladin power. Oh, I don't have 25 gold. Okay. So that will be the end of my turn. One thing to note is you cannot win the game you can't get your last experience by exchanging gold.
Okay.
So if I'm at 24 or 23 experience, I can't cash in enough to get me to 25.
Right, okay.
You have to win some other way. All right, so that's the end of my turn. It's your turn. You are in the Forest of Delusion. You've explored, so now you can make your way back to Kismatic if you want to defeat the guy you stole from. Or you could, you've got 3 movements. You could also go north and fight Osira in Skull Rock Island. And that's the iconic creature on the cover of the box. I love the art for that Hydra.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all. 1, 2, and I got +1 movement for my range.
Oh, I miscounted. So maybe you don't want to go that way. I am going to have to cut it off here, though.
Oh, that's
I do
fine.
have to step away.
Yeah, no. I think we advanced pretty significantly in the game here.
Yeah, like within the next 2 turns, one of us probably would have been victorious.
Yes.
You got to see basically every element of the game, from equipping to cashing in to advancing classes to fighting quest creatures.
And that's what we wanted to do. Okay, well, again, I appreciate you coming to the cave and playing Novus with us.
Yeah, it's been fun. Took us a little bit to get set up, but once we did, we really got rolling.
That's right.
Hopefully it helps share some of the rules to those that get a chance to watch it, and I'll make sure to share your video and throw some comments your way as well.
Okay, I will have this up. I'll have it edited tonight. It'll be first thing in the morning.
Sounds perfect.
Excellent.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep, we'll see you.
Okay, gotta run.
Guys, that was Novus. I will have the link up to back the Kickstarter. Link below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, The Game Cave, and look for us here on Twitch, where we stream every Saturday at 8 p.m. Until next time, be well.